and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you are ready to face the nightmares that Universal Orlando is going to have you, well, actually walk through and live here at Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights 26. How about a big round of applause for that? That's right. Now, we want to give you a chance, pardon the pun, to learn a little bit more details about the event this year. And before we bring up some of our friends from Universal Orlando's entertainment group, well, we do know that there's going to be a Q&A here as well. So we're going to break down some things for you and give you guys a little bit more insight. Are you ready for it? All right. Now, not only do we have some of our friends from Universal Orlando Entertainment, but tonight we'll be joined by executive producer for AMC's The Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero will be here with us this evening. That's right. So, before we get that Q&A underway, I'd like to introduce Patrick Braillard, show director for Universal Orlando Entertainment, Art and Design. Patrick.
Happy Halloween! Oh, come on. Happy Halloween! We are in our 26th year for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, and we're not going to stop anytime soon. We are so thrilled to have you all here to not only get a look at the content before you walk out into our mazes and our street zones and see our live shows, but to also get a glimpse a little bit behind the curtain as to what we do. Now, before we end up bringing out the rest of the entertainment team, I want to make sure that I thank you on behalf of everybody at Universal Orlando Resort for being here at this event. We are so thrilled that you're here for the beginning of a brand new era. 25 was a huge year for us. The anniversary year, Jack, we set records, we broke records, we defied expectations, and we were so thrilled that as many guests as they did come through our gates came and experienced that event with us. This year, we have the opportunity, the chance, to move forward with our thematic. For the very first time in our history, we're taking the opportunity to tell a sequel of sorts as far as the event is concerned. We're starting where 25 left off, a direct sequel to that event in our 26th year. At the end of the Carnage Returns show last year, well, consequences happen and you can't lock up Jack. So who's your best next option? Chance. Now, she's anything else but a consolation prize, though. She was taken and locked away. And that was the biggest mistake they could have made, because for Chance, getting locked away wasn't a sentence. It was a joy. They locked her in a locked, confined area with 400 potential victims. There's a problem with that. Chance is going to break out. And as it leads into our first maze, which is our first original maze I'm going to talk about, is the Lunatics Playground 3D. You won't stand a chance. It gives us the opportunity, as the creators, to uniquely tell Act 1 of her story. Act 2 will be covered in a scare zone that I'll talk about in just a moment. Now, this Act 1 for Chance in Lunatic's Playground gives us the opportunity to tell her story, but it also gives us the opportunity to do so in a very unique way. With the technology that Wildfire presents, with 3D, we've got the opportunity to truly mess with our guest perception as they walk through and see the story of her taking over the asylum with the maniacs. Now, that's a good maze. It's a great opportunity for us to show our guests Chance's story, but we also have 8 other mazes. The next we're going to talk about, Tomb of the Ancients, our second out of our 3 original mazes this year. All of the ancient civilizations had ruins. So you've got the Egyptian pyramids, you've got Angkor Wat, you've got the Aztec temples. But what if they weren't temples at all, but rather warning signs, caps on top of Hellmouths that kept beings from underneath the ground from taking over the earth? Well, unfortunately, like Halloween Horror Nights is apt to do, something goes horribly wrong and one of those seals is broken. And you get sent into this Tomb of the Ancients. We minimize the pathway. We lower the ceilings. We take you into an area where if you're claustrophobic, you're going to have a problem with this maze. We've got monsters and creatures that are going to be coming out from every single angle, and it is one of the most impressive environments that we've ever had in our tenure. Moving on, our requel. Not a reboot, not a sequel, it's Ghost Town. It gives us an opportunity as the creators of the event to reimagine or revisit an area that we might have already touched on, a story that we might want to grow. Ghost Town, The Curse of Lightning Gulch, gives us the opportunity to revisit the maze, the spectacular maze from 2004 that we had created, but in a whole new light. We get to tell more of the story. The story is that miners and settlers had set up this town because they found gold. Well, that's great for them, but unfortunately, when they discovered the mother lode that was in a nearby hill and brought it to the town center, they could have had no way of knowing that it was cursed, that it was going to cause everyone to get greedy and have gold fever, and everybody died. And you get the opportunity to go through that town. It's going to be fun. Now, that is the third of our three original mazes. Let's move on to our horror properties. Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Oh, come on, give it some love. 1974's Texas Chain Saw Massacre from Tobe Hooper ushered in a very real true crime slasher movie. And it is one of our favorites. And we look forward to showing you guys the Hewitt homestead. Using the actual ground plan of what would have been the homestead house as you make your way through our environments to revisit certain scenes from different angles gives you an opportunity to get scared a lot by a lot of Leatherfaces. There will be chainsaws. Speaking of slasher movies, Halloween, Hell Comes to Haddonfield. Like any proper, like the event this year, which being a sequel to the 2015 event, we also have the opportunity for the very first time to tell a true sequel in maze form. The 2014 Maze of Halloween, who saw it? Who's here for it? All right, it was an amazing maze. Michael Myers was everywhere in that place. And because we know the story of Halloween 2 so well, as fans and as well as creators, we get the opportunity to take you into that exact story, starting the maze with the last 2 rooms of the 14 maze before moving on and telling the rest of Michael Myers' story. And it is fun. All right, speaking of fun, Krampus. Yeah. You can't help but watch this movie and think of films like Gremlins. You have that horror/comedy dichotomy that you really, really want to sink your teeth into. And for us as creators, it was just super fun. We're like, yes, it's a Christmas maze, it's a horror maze, it's a comedy maze. This is great. We couldn't wait to explore the story of the Ingle family and take you through their experiences in that house. You'll see gingerbread men, you're going to see the teddy bear, you're going to see Cherub, you're going to see Jack in the Box, you're going to see Krampus, you're going to see a lot of elves. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of fun. Yeah. We have been wanting to do this maze for years. This is the scariest movie of all time. And it also presented a very unique challenge for us as the creators, because 90% of this movie takes place in a single bedroom. And unless we're going to take you guys through 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 different bedrooms and come through the window and then through the doorway and then from underneath the bed and then through the ceiling, it's the same bedroom over and over again, no matter what is happening on the bed or near the walls. So what we decided to do is take those favorite moments as fans and blow it out as if it was a fever dream. You're going to walk through the maze, and the very first thing you're going to see is the facade, that very famous facade, and you're going to have the chance to literally walk through the movie's poster before going into the maze. Once you hit that portal, all bets are off. You're going to see those famous moments from the film. And if you've never seen The Exorcist, you will tonight. Yeah, you can do that again. Yeah. We're really excited about American Horror Story. We get the opportunity to take this amazing show with so many varied characters and so many amazing sets and show it to our guests. To take you and dump you into the worlds of Season 1, Murder House, Season 4, Freak Show, Season 5, Hotel. We get the opportunity to take you in and show you what it's like to actually be a part of American Horror Story. We are very, very excited to show this maze. It's one of our Uber mazes. It takes up the majority of Soundstage 19. You're going to have a lot of fun in that maze. Yeah. We are thrilled to bring this maze back. There were stories left untold over the previous years that we now get a chance to show our guests. For the previous years, we really formed a thought that it was going to be a single chronology from the beginning of the maze all the way through the end. And this year, we get the opportunity with AMC's The Walking Dead to take you through our favorite moments of the series from the beginning until now. We get to revisit scenes that you may have seen in the past as far as the house is concerned, but take you through them from a completely different entrance and exit. We get to give you a different camera angle, as it were, as you walk through these events. Plus, we get to take moments from the street zones of the past, bring them into the house, blow them up, and give them the due that they deserve. We get the opportunity to do things with this maze that we haven't been able to before, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, Patrick?
Yeah?
So, you've been here doing a really good job of this as far as explaining all the houses is concerned. Anybody out there specifically, have you had the chance to take a look inside of this house as of yet? Anyone in the audience? No one yet. Well, we got some friends of ours that are in the back, and we figured, I mean, you did a great job at explaining, but maybe they could give you, like, a first-hand experience of what it was like, because they just went through it.
Right on.
We bring them out?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming some of the cast of The Walking Dead. Please welcome Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie. Alana Masterson, who plays Tara. Seth Gilliam, who plays Father Gabriel. Ross Marquand, who plays Aaron. And Jordan Woods Robinson, who plays Eric. Well, thank you so much for joining us, you guys. We really appreciate you spending some time. And as I was telling the guests here, you just experienced this house. You want to tell us a little bit about how it went?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
So scary. You guys like it?
Yeah.
You yelped a few times, I gotta say. You kind of get a little, I mean...
Dude,
not gonna talk?
I tell you backstage not to tell them I yelped. What is the deal?
It's kind of funny.
It was really great. You guys should go and do it.
You should go, and the one tip that we'll give you is if you think it's less scary with your eyes covered, you're sorely mistaken. Maybe. Even when you're behind Alana and Greg and Ross and Seth, it's still scary with the sounds. But we want you guys to have a great time. We don't want to scare you off of going. We want to wish you a happy Halloween and welcome. And big, scary love from all of us. We love you! We love you!
All right, thank you so much. Let's give another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, come on down this way, guys. Lauren, Alana, Seth, Ross, and Jordan. All right, thanks, Patrick. I'll let you take back over there.
How do you follow The Walking Dead's cast? Bye, guys. I guess we can follow it by not only talking about the houses, but then moving on to what becomes another portion of our event at night, the scare zones. Our guests can come through the turnstiles and they can choose to go into a house. But if you walk around the park, you have to go through the scare zones. And I heard it talked about earlier today. Blake Braswell was talking about the scare zones. He's our house show director this year, or the street show director rather. And we were talking about the scare zones, and he said, you know what, they're just like houses. They just don't have roofs. That's a great way of describing it. So as you walk through the park, you're going to see 5 fantastic scare zones. In New York, you've got Survive or Die Apocalypse, where 3 warring clans vie for your fellowship so that you can be a part of their apocalyptic group and take over resources. You've got Dead Man's Wharf in San Francisco, which, if you haven't been in San Francisco yet tonight, do yourself a favor, go out there and look at the boat that we beached up on top of San Francisco. It's amazing. The Annabelle Lee. For you horror fans out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. So then you've also got Lair of the Banshee in Central Park, where we've literally condensed Central Park even tighter than it is, and the creatures that are in there are fantastic. The mask work that our makeup and prosthetics team has done this year is amazing. And then you've got Vamp 55. Hollywood high schools, homecoming, driving through downtown Hollywood, and the greasers show up, but instead of being greasers, they are vampires. It's a lot of fun. And then, as I spoke earlier, the chance to tell the sequel in 2 acts. The second act of Chance's story is told in A Chance in Hell. That's in Avenue of the Stars. It gives the opportunity for us to show Chance full in mode, taking over not only the asylum, but now all of the maniacs have broken out with her and have taken over the entire scare zone. These 5 environments are also joined by roaming hordes of chainsaws. Welcome. Now, Horror Nights is houses, and Horror Nights is scare zones. But there's also another facet of Horror Nights that is definitely necessary to complete the formula. Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure, celebrating its 25th year of spoofing biggest figures in pop culture, and this year is no different. This show this year is hilarious. I'm really, really excited for you guys to go see it. Speaking of excitement, there's another show that we have this year, Academy of Villains, House of Fear. If you don't know who Academy of Villains are right now, don't YouTube it, don't Google it, just go to the show. They're a fantastic group of performance artists from the West Coast. They've got a studio in San Francisco as well as LA. Their crew is about 90 strong. They auditioned that crew down to strong 16 members who do not only shadow play, aggro work, but hard-hitting, high-intensity dance. And it is an amazing show that grabs you by the throat and just slaps you until you walk out. I'm really, really excited for you guys to go and see that show in particular. Now, that is the slate as far as Horror Nights is concerned. Oh, that's right. We've got the repository. The repository is a brand new experience for our guests. And to talk about it, I want to invite out here TJ Mannarino, Senior Director of Entertainment, Art, and Design. TJ!
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Smiling faces. Are you having a great time? Yes, yes. Okay, great. Well, as Patrick said, the repository is an all-new experience that we've created this year. Basically, it's a new generation of basically horror that we're taking you into the world of cutting-edge technology. Now, what does that mean? What that means is we've taken custom virtual reality technology, added our world-famous live scare actors to this experience, wrapped around highly detailed thematic sets. And it's all given to you through kind of an immersive storytelling experience, which our guests have probably never seen anyplace else, and only we can do it here. Now, the story of the repository is this ancient, centuries-old warehouse that is known to house strange paranormal artifacts. And you, as guests, enter in small groups of thrill seekers to find your way and survive the repository and basically get your way out. Now, I have a lot more details, I'll tell you a lot, but I think we're going to be able to sit up here and answer some questions, but I just want to whet your appetite, tell you that this is something that nobody's doing, something that you have to see because it's amazing, and I know from our 26 years of doing this, this is exciting stuff that you guys really want to be a part of. So I'm going to stop and throw this back to Patrick.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Patrick, and thank you, TJ.